Hello, it's Tuesday, November the 25th, and these are your news headlines. We're covering a wide range of stories: a United Nations report on violence against women, courtroom rulings in London and Washington, further turmoil at the BBC, a policing misconduct case, and a cultural controversy in Brighton. A United Nations report warns femicide shows no sign of real progress. More than 83,000 women and girls were intentionally killed worldwide in 2024. That's 137 every single day. 60% of those deaths were at the hands of partners or relatives. By comparison, only 11% of male homicide victims were killed by family members. The report, released to mark the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, says many of these killings are preventable, but gaps in policing, protection systems, and social support leave women at fatal risk. UN Women's Sarah Hendricks described femicide as part of a continuum of violence that can begin with controlling behaviour, harassment, and online abuse. Campaigners are calling for governments to increase funding for shelters, legal aid, and specialist support services as the UN's annual 16 Days of Activism campaign begins. In London, Father Ted co-creator Graham Linehan has been cleared of harassing transgender activist Sophia Brooks. District Judge Brian Clark ruled that while Linehan's single social media post was objectively unpleasant and unnecessary, it did not cross the line into harassment. He was, however, found guilty of criminal damage after angrily seizing Miss Brooks' mobile phone outside the Battle of Ideas conference last October. Linehan, who flew in from Arizona for the hearing, told the court his life was made hell by Miss Brooks, whom he accused of being a young soldier in the trans activist army. The case comes as the Metropolitan Police announced it will no longer investigate so-called non-crime hate incidents, pledging instead to focus on matters that meet the threshold for criminal investigation. In Washington, a judge has dismissed criminal cases against two prominent critics of President Donald Trump: former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Judge Cameron Curry ruled that the prosecutor who brought the indictments, Lindsay Halligan, was illegally appointed, making all actions following from her appointment unlawful. Both Comey and James claimed the charges were politically motivated. The White House says the Justice Department will appeal, calling the dismissal unprecedented. Legal experts note the statute of limitations may prevent prosecutors from refiling charges against Comey. Scotland Yard Detective Constable Thomas Sewell has been dismissed for gross misconduct after admitting he wrote misogynistic erotic fiction and browsed sexual content on his work laptop during work hours. A misconduct panel described the material as deeply offensive and abhorrent, particularly given its policing context. Sewell said he had turned to writing as a way of coping with trauma earlier in his career, but Commander Katie Lilburn ruled his actions incompatible with his role. BBC Chairman Samir Shah has apologised to licence fee payers after weeks of turmoil sparked by a leaked dossier alleging bias and editorial failures. The fallout has already seen the resignations of Director General Tim Davie and News Chief Deborah Turness. Appearing before MPs, Shah admitted mistakes had been made, but insisted the board had full confidence in Davie and wished he had not stepped down. The leaked memo, written by former editorial advisor Michael Prescott, accused the corporation of systematic failings, including censorship of transgender reporting and a panorama documentary that misled viewers by splicing a speech by US President Donald Trump. Prescott told MPs he remains a supporter of the BBC, but warned of serious and systemic problems at its core. In Brighton, artist Jill Doran, apologies, has condemned the city council's decision to cancel his New Union Flag exhibition, describing it as censorship. The project, created with input from over 10,000 participants to celebrate Britain's multicultural identity, was due to be displayed at Jubilee Library next week. Council leader Bella Sankey said the exhibition was cancelled to protect minority communities who might misinterpret the flags without reading the accompanying signage, stressing that libraries must remain neutral spaces. Organisers from Stand Up to Racism called the cancellation odd and disappointing, arguing that artistic freedom should be defended against racist backlash. The project has previously been exhibited at Tate Modern, the South Bank Centre and Amnesty International. Those are your news headlines for today, Tuesday, November 25th. Thank you for listening. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Come and follow me on all the social medias, and I will see you tomorrow for Wednesday's news headlines. Thank you for listening.